Баби? Баби? Имам един проблем тук на... Да, на компютъра тук имам някакъв проблем. Може ли да дойдеш на секунда? Нещо не мога да разбера. Може ли да...
На твоя компютър?
Тук има. Проблем тук. Бабичо, може да го видиш този проблем?
Какво да
бъде? Ела.
Кажи, Анчо. Кой е това?
Surprise! Hello!
Surprise!
Wow!
The big surprise.
So...
Buongiorno.
Nice to see you. So I'm going to unpin everyone. So I just want, can you hear us?
Oh, what are you doing, you guys?
So I'm just going to leave the person with the surprise.
What?
Who can show us the surprise?
Again. This is it.
Woo! And I'm going to share the surprise.
Oh my God.
For everyone to see.
I will kill you. Why in profile?
Good boy. Ask the artist.
You beasts.
And I am told, I am promised that there is an actual surprise someplace. Maybe, possibly, we shall see. But in the meantime, maybe we marvel this.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's amazing. Do you like it?
No, I love it.
No.
And we're here to present and have a few words about this book.
Where is the wine, please?
Yeah.
Well, yes, there should be some wine.
Question. I mean, wine has been flowing freely throughout this project, I have to say.
That is for sure. And I wonder whether, do we have the actual object, maybe?
The actual object.
Oh, we have that. Oh my God.
Oh.
You know what? I'm surprised. I can never keep secrets, but my daughter is amazing. Wow. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Mamma mia, mamma mia.
That is verband.
Oh my God. Oh my, it is really, oh my God.
It's a shame.
Oh my God.
You have some amazing colleagues and friends, Maria, and we will talk about the making of the volume in a little bit. But first, we want to let you have a look.
You want to see me crying? I'm ready.
Yes, we do.
Абе, дайте на жената една чаша вино.
Дай ми малко водичка, защото наистина... О, Боже.
Вино направо.
О. Oh, oh my God.
I think I probably should pin her, did I? No, she's pinned. Okay, perfect.
Аз нищо не виждам. Не, нищо не виждам. Не.
И те мютвам.
О, Божечко. Oh. Oof.
Could somebody sing a song or something?
Well, the international someone, please.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. Theodora
about-
can introduce the.
okay,
Well, let Maria take a breath, take a sip. I am so glad we were able to surprise you. Because with 29 authors, that was really a feat. And I'm so grateful for each and one of them that, you know, contributed to this volume. And many of them are here today to celebrate Maria. So what we want to do is say a few words about the volume and give you a second to, you know, gather your thoughts, see who's all here. If you want to see, there are, you know, some 30 participants here. Some of them are authors, others are your friends. So we are very glad. We had to keep it secret, so we didn't spread the word too much. We just send it to your closest friends and colleagues and the authors, obviously. I'm sure that had we spread the message, there would have been more people. But the plan is for us to say a few words about the volume. The authors should be receiving their copies very soon. I think that you are one of the first people to actually touch the volume, besides Ulf Brunbauer and Konrad Kluing, who produced the volume and stored it in their office for several months before we could organize everything. How they didn't manage the secret to slip out, I don't know, with apparently the volume just sitting there. But let me just say a few words about the book. About a year and a half ago, in the summer of 1921, the other editors of the volume, Augusta Dimou and Veneta Ivanova, and just if people haven't figured this out, we are all Maria's graduate students and mentees. They contacted me and asked me what I thought about working on a Festschrift for Maria Todorova, who had just retired from her professorship at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I jumped on board immediately, and after some brainstorming, we determined that a wonderful venue for this volume would be the Southeast European Studies series at the Leibniz Institute for East and Southeast European Studies in Regensburg, the series edited by Ulf Brunbauer and Konrad Kluing. And Ulf and Konrad embraced the idea, and that was really a very productive collaboration made in heaven.
not to speak generous.
We worked very well together. Let me just put it in simple words. Let me say a few words about the volume. Drawing inspiration from Maria Todorova's body of scholarship, this Festschrift, which we named Re-Imagining the Balkans, honors her long-standing contributions to the field of Southeast and East European studies. In 29 chapters, the authors writing for this volume represent diverse generations of established and junior scholars on both sides of the Atlantic, including some of Maria's graduate mentees. The authors come from a variety of disciplines: history, anthropology, political science, ethnomusicology, sociology, as well as scholarly traditions such as Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, Greece, Turkey, Croatia, Slovenia, Austria, Germany, the United States, and Canada. And we believe that collectively, these chapters showcase the breadth and vitality of contemporary Balkan studies. The volume is organized around three themes or paradigms: empirical case studies and research questions, methodological, theoretical, and historiographical contributions, and pedagogical interventions. Individually, the chapters cover a number of questions linked to Maria's scholarship: the geopolitics of the Eastern question, or the place of Bulgaria in regional and European politics; historical legacies, whether imperial, socialist, or post-socialist; Balkanism, Balkanization, and Orientalization as discourse and reality; structural borrowings, intellectual transmissions, generational influences, and matters of knowledge production and dissemination; imaginative archival, historiographical, and methodological interventions that restore the voices of the silenced and marginalized, doing humanities and social science work in and about the Balkans while giving back to the region, and pedagogical reflections on how to trigger interest in and question stereotypes about the corner of Europe that we all love, but many are ignorant about. We opted for short, crisp, punchy contributions meant to illuminate, stimulate, or even provoke, rather than present extensive research in the traditional scholarly format. We are grateful to the authors for their enthusiastic endorsement of this project. While some of the writers choose to directly link to key aspects of Todorova's work, others offer presentations that reflect lasting intellectual and personal connections. In the end, the 29 chapters offer a range of both rigorously academic and more intimate reflections on and engagements with Maria Todorova, the scholar, the mentor, and the person. On this note, Re-Imagining the Balkans is a celebration of a path-breaking scholar, inspiring teacher, dedicated mentor, and ardent public intellectual, who in the last few decades has reshaped how we speak, write, research, and teach the Balkans. But even more importantly, this volume is a celebration of Maria Todorova, the person, who has also shown so much generosity to everyone around her. I think we should all unmute and clap.
Bravo.
Bravo. Bravo.
Bravo. Bravo.
You want me to say something? I cannot.
No. We have a little
No.
program.
We can keep
have a
going.
little program. Don't worry. We have planned for this, and I think that Conrad is going to offer a few words and say something more about the collaboration.
Just really a very few words, but when we were approached by the editors, the whole endeavor was quickly decided upon because of Maria and the editors and the variety of contributions that was going to be offered by the volume. But it was an unusual experience to really see all these things happening so fast and so quickly. So as Theodora said, the range of topics and of scholarly backgrounds is surprisingly widespread in this volume, but still the volume as such, in my mind as a reader and editor, functions perfectly well. So the outcome is really something special. It was also very special to collaborate with the editors, I need to say. A trio of most professional and most lovely and likable collaborators for the Institute and me, which was a very bright and inspiring experience, really. The linguistic background was something I want to develop on a little bit. In our series, we usually have one contributor, that is the author of a monograph, and the monographs are mostly in German. So it was really something like, not an experiment, we have done so before, but it was a pleasure to see an English volume growing and coming up at this level. And we also had, at least for me, some obstacles to surmount. That is mostly the English style of or American style of romanization of Bulgarian titles. We would do it differently in German and of course more pedantically, and then most of the Americans would do. But the lady editors managed in combining sturdiness and thoroughness with preciseness, and I think we reached a possibly larger level than most of the other contributions in the field would do in this respect. And I want to thank Veneta, Theodora, and Augusta for all their endeavors to reach this point. And yeah, that was just a pleasure. And we were honored at the IOS, Maria, to contribute our bit to letting the volume come into being. It was something special also to keep our books, this book, secret, because we wouldn't do so usually with our books. And all in all, it was just wonderful to do. And I want to thank the contributors indirectly. We didn't have much direct interaction, which was very good and helpful. The space for the pace we managed to keep. Mostly the editors again and the contributors. So yeah, thank you to all of you, and we will be intrigued by what your impressions are, Maria, of the book itself. The book is something that should count a little or a lot to the readers, and most of all, hopefully to you.
I think we have Augusta next in line, right? Is this what we agreed on?
Okay, thank you. It was quite contemplating. I'm sorry because I have two monitors, and I think that it's it's very hard for me to see where the camera actually is now. But so you might be seeing me unfast.
It's on the right.
It's all right. Okay, thank you. So it was while contemplating on this text of homage to Maria Todorova that I first came to realize that thinking about her is almost equivalent to reflecting on the greatest part of my adult life. For I've had the pleasure and the honor to be one of her numerous students with whom she has shared paths and passions. And for those who know Maria, but also for those who don't know her so well, she's not only a challenging and exciting intellectual and interlocutor, but also someone who, as the Germans would say, man kann mit ihr Pferde stellen. That is the German equivalent of the English an absolute all-weather friend. And moreover, she's a real troublemaker in the very best and most exquisite sense of the word. Someone who will stand up for what she believes in, will question certainties and wisdoms, and who incentivizes and animates academic environments and discussions alike with an energy, a will, and a spirit that is absolutely infectious. Her role as a public intellectual and her numerous intellectual interventions and public debates, often taking positions that go against the grain, is a further testimony of this intellectual caliber and of the character. I'm also one of the numerous students who are deeply indebted to her for infecting us with her love of the Balkans, of the region, the meanwhile famous dedication to her parents and Imagining the Balkans, for inspiring us to go beyond the narrow confines of national history and historiography, and for receiving from her work Mark Bloch in an influential book called The Historian's Craft. Though I might be qualified as old-fashioned, I continue to cherish the notion of apprenticeship as a precious gift, a gift that is ritually handed over from mentor to disciple in conditions of trust, and where you embark on the common voyage of knowledge by putting faith in your captain and you trust her skill and experience. With Maria, this was a voyage that was certainly worth it. There are so many aspects of her intellectual itinerary that one could think of, but let me just mention a few. The breadth of topics she has dealt with. Let me mention demography, family history, Ottoman history, topics of memory, identity, political uses of the past, legacies, canonization of history, historical and historiographic scales, and always industriously taking up new ones. The dialogue with so many and manifold academic and historiographic contexts, the Bulgarian, the Balkan, European, American, international. Her vivid interest in the epistemology of knowledge and the knowledge gaining process. And what I would say is one of her greatest contributions is that she helped open up a field that was traditionally oriented mostly towards empirical history, and where the most trenchant activity was the critical examination of sources. She helped open up this field towards new theoretical and methodological debates. And furthermore, her working at the borders between disciplines, transpassing into demography, oral history, literary studies, literary criticism, cultural studies, anthropology, even sociology, and her willingness to learn from them and willingness to take up the theoretical debates, the theoretical issues that they opened up. And what I have always cherished enormously is her willingness to go for the big questions. Why do we conceptualize phenomena, regions the way we do? How does our conceptual apparatus influence the way we do history? How is history handed over to posterity, officially, institutionally, generationally? What are the layers of the past that influence the present, and in what ways? What is the role of memory for history and historical consciousness? And what is the relationship between memory and society? What is a public space? What constitutes modernity? How do social subjects create their modernity? How does historical time and historical space correlate? I mean, these are the big questions, and Maria has touched upon all of them. But beyond this precious intellectual baggage, I have some very personal things that I would like to keep from her legacy. In the first place, the enthusiasm with which she embarks on new projects, her genuine curiosity for all things human, the wit and the stamina with which she faces calamities, and the enormous working discipline that it takes in order to become Maria Todorova. As a role model, she taught us that it does not suffice to be an excellent academic. You also have to be a decent human being, and she has lived up to this principle in absolute terms. With this book, we would like to honor her long service to the academic community, her pedagogical involvement, her tireless engagement for her students, and is meant to be just a very tiny symbolic return of the generosity and care with which she has embraced us all, several generations of scholars of Southeast and Eastern Europe that are here assembled today, and much more that are out there and will be, bugging the world. We would like, of course, to thank all the friends and colleagues who responded enthusiastically to our call and helped us materialize this volume. And there were much more that would have liked to participate, but were either deterred by short deadlines or pressing commitments. And I think I've already talked too much. Maria, a big, big thank you.
Augusta, you have lots of emotion on this side of the screen. A lot of silence, but a lot of emotion.
Do you want me to remove the pin temporarily?
Okay.
I think we have Veneta next, right, Veneta?
Yes, sure. I can try to keep up with the solemn and serious tone of our colleagues here.
Say something.
Maria? Okay, yeah. It's coming. Maria's inspiring scholarship has been detrimental to the Greek economy, as it cost the wedding planning industry one of their most promising cadres, if I may say so myself. What I mean is that right after graduating from college with a degree in political science in Athens, I got a dream job as a wedding planner on the island of Santorini, probably the best job that I ever had or that I will ever have. Too bad for the brides that during my senior year of college, I set my mind upon becoming a historian after discovering Imagining the Balkans. So instead of becoming the star of destination weddings in Greece, I set out to do a PhD in history in Urbana, Champaign, a place that I had no idea to how to even locate on the map. And due to Maria's relentless intellectual nourishment, spirited teaching, and impossibly generous advising, I really could have not wished for a more pleasurable experience, even in the Midwestern cornfields. But I know that Maria doesn't like tributes, so I'm not going to offer one here. She can see what we think about her and her scholarship in the volume's introduction, and not one word there is exaggerated. In fact, so averse is she to accolades that when she received the ACES Distinguished Contributions Award, for which we secretly nominated her, we talked and she said, "You girls are such lobbyists and schemers." Lobbyski intrigantki is the exact expression she used in Bulgarian. And I mean, I admitted to being guilty as charged, thinking to myself, oh, little do you know, there is a lot more conniving to be had with many more co-conspirators. And this brings me to my last point. I cannot thank enough all the authors for their truly excellent contributions, professionalism, and enthusiastic embrace of the Festschrift, and also to our wonderful series editors, Zulf and Konrad, and the staff at the Leibniz Institute for East and Southeast European Studies for their meticulous work, attention to detail, and really overwhelming support, unwavering support in all aspects, be it logistical, editorial, material, you name it. In fact, I was humbled by how smoothly the whole operation ran from beginning to book cover. And I remember that in one of my correspondences with Donna Buchanan, who is also a contributor to the volume, she was impressed that we managed to gather all these articles so quickly, and said that often doing an edited collection is like herding cats. Well, I guess we were extremely lucky and privileged in herding the very best cats in the field of East and Southeast European history, and without any effort at that. And lastly, I'd like to thank my glorious co-plotters, Augusta and Theodora. I would say that this project was conceived a few years ago in a seaside taverna in Athens, when inspired by Maria's work, and probably even more so by the dinner and wine, Augusta came up with this brilliant idea to do a Festschrift to honor Maria. And so when Maria retired, the appropriate occasion arrived. And fittingly, the finishing touches were done while Theodora and I were on the island of Poros, and we did the final edits with Augusta on Zoom, toasting and drinking wine, of course. And every step of the way from conception to delivery, this volume has been an immense pleasure, and by far the most fun scholarly project I ever took part in. So many thanks to all the accomplices for their stealth, so that we could bring this intriguing scheme to fruition. I hope we lived up to our reputation of Lubisky intrigantki.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Lubisky and Intrigantki, and besides that, the three empresses, Augusta, Veneta, and Theodora, as we kept calling each other while we were communicating, over those year and a half. I think, so it's my turn to offer my personal tribute, and because I knew I would come last and probably much would be covered already, I decided to really go personal and focus on microhistory. That is my first year in Gainesville, Florida. So I realized, trying to write my personal tribute, that I have known Maria since 1998, when, similarly to others, after reading Imagining the Balkans in Athens, Greece, my then advisor, Olga Katsiardi, told me you should go study with Maria Todorova, and I applied and I got admitted. So apparently I have known Maria for 25 years now. So how do you say something short and sweet about such a lasting relationship that has morphed from one of mentor-mentee to a warm, trusted friendship with a remarkable woman whom I seek out about everything from professional advice to current affairs to personal dilemmas and child care crisis. So what I want to do is focus on my first year of knowing her. And I think that year is really indicative of who Maria is. So I first met Maria in Sofia in the summer of 1998, first admitted to the University of Florida. I called her Professor Todorova, and she promptly told me that's not going to work unless you call me Maria. So in that very first moment, she wanted to turn this into more than just, a professional relationship. She and her family generously met me in the Tampa airport, drove me to Gainesville, and let me crash in Alex's bedroom, even though Maria constantly reminded me not to touch the silver bracelets that his then girlfriend, Aziza, now his wife, had left around. I also learned that Anjunka was playing soccer, that is football, unlike girls in Europe, I was told. And I marveled how Alex and Anjunka were actually talking about the art that Maria, Stoyan, and Alex had just brought with them from Sofia, and they were wondering where exactly they will hang it on the walls of the house. And it just seems like such a wonderful family getting together and talking about all of these topics, about personal and intellectual, that I immediately felt at home. Then I took my first graduate seminar with her. It was appropriately on the Anau School. And she started the seminar with a light reading, The Mediterranean by Fernand Braudel. The two volumes combined, I still have those notes. Hundreds of lines of notes trying to figure out how to read this for a seminar. But then, even though this was a very rigorous class, every single week she brought a different pastry to the graduate seminar, treating her students with delectable goods each week. She provided us with feedback. She gave me actually the best copies of the books assigned for the class because I was so broke, I had no money to buy all of these rather expensive books. And she was warm, accepting, patient, non-demanding, but at the same time, intellectually stimulating. But that doesn't mean she wasn't intimidating as well. After one lecture, she was asked to slow down during the lecture by some of her students in the classroom, and she responded, "I cannot slow down. They need to think faster." And that just scared the bejesus out of me. I'm like, how am I going to study with this woman if I don't speed up how I think? But again, at the same time, she was encouraging, supportive, optimistic, always offering solutions to small quandaries and bigger dilemmas. At the end of my first year, I wanted to leave graduate school and actually apply to a different program because we didn't have too many students. Augusta had already left. We didn't have many students of Balkan studies in Gainesville, but she encouraged me to stay. And I will be always grateful for the choice. I can't imagine transferring to other school. So with this short, recollections, I just want to send you all my gratitude and love, Maria. I think we have Ulfjo.
Es ist sub-intrigant.
Ulfjo, for you, I poured the rosé. It's rosé o'clock here in Greece.
I'm in Sweden. I can't afford the alcohol here, so I have only water.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one would think then that one cannot really add anything, but when speaking about Maria, you can always add something. And I really want to take this chance to thank you, Maria. I did not have the privilege to be a student of yours, but at least I can claim that I'm among the pre-imagining the Balkans. the Balkans fans of yours, because the first time I saw you was in 1996 when you came to Graz for a visiting professorship. Unfortunately, at the very same time, I left for Bulgaria after all for my first long research stint for my PhD research. So we didn't really have a chance to interact. Although your work started to shaping my work at that time, the Balkan family structures, a book that I still really hold in very high regard. And I'm of course terribly proud that with my research I could nuance some of your arguments. So this Festschrift was also a very personal thing for me. And of course, as Konrad has already said, it was really big an honor for us, and we didn't need to think twice about whether we would agree to publish the Festschrift in the Südosteuropäische Arbeiten. So thank you, Augusta, Theodora, Veneta, for approaching us and for the excellent work. This was really, I think, a record time in a good sense to publish a collective volume with so many authors, which also I think shows the commitment of all of us to Maria and how much we appreciate you, Maria. In 1969, German Southeast Europeanist Matthias Bernhard gave a talk. It was his habilitation talk on Südosteuropäische Geschichte als gesonderte Disziplin, Southeast European history as a separate discipline. And I mentioned that also because Matthias Bernhard later would go on to become director of the Südost Institute, which is the predecessor of our today's Leibniz Institute, and which had established also the book series Südosteuropäische Arbeiten. And I guess that few of us would agree, and certainly not Maria, that Southeast European history is in any way a special discipline or a separate discipline, because one thing that I learned, for example, from the Balkan family structures and the European pattern, that what we need to do as people working on this part of the world and its history is really to apply whatever is the state-of-the-art methodology in the field we are interested in. But I think we can at least say that Southeastern Europe is an especially interesting and productive vantage point to pose these big questions that Theodora and Augusta have already alluded to. And insofar, Southeastern Europe, I think, continues to be special, not only because I think most of us not only have a professional, but also emotional, and of course, many of you also a very existential attachment to the region. But I still think that the mission that Maria has been so famous for, which is really to showcase that we cannot write European history without integrating the history of Southeastern Europe, and actually we cannot write global history without Southeastern Europe, is still not over. Being now in Gothenburg at the European Social Science History Conference, it's still amazing how few panels actually include papers on Southeastern Europe. So we really need to keep working on that, but I think in the knowledge that with our work on Southeast European history, we can also challenge some of the conventional visions of European history. And I think what Maria has really achieved, and probably as well, I would not dare say the same thing for my work. What you really have achieved is you have forced our colleagues who claim to do European history to not ignore Southeastern Europe anymore. And for that, I'm really very grateful for our whole field, but also personally in the way how in your work, probably without you ever actually knowing it, shaped my own work. So thank you so much, and thanks to all contributors that made this wonderful book, which you soon should receive through mail, have made possible.
And I think one thing we forgot to say, and I'm going to actually let Veneta talk about it, about the cover of the book.
Oh, well, I'm going to voice Maria's grievances to my friend who did the illustration. But the story was that, well, she's a scenic artist in Hollywood. And one day she called me and she was so fed up with California and Hollywood and everything. And she's like, I had my third concussion in 2 months. Please give me a task. I want to draw something. And I was like, really? You want to do something? I was like, okay, well, do you want to do the cover for this volume that we're doing? And she said, yeah, sure. And so she actually watched a YouTube lecture to be able to do that. So yeah.
Her name,
But I will.
her name is Anna Caracalou. Let's say her name, Veneta.
Yeah, Anna Caracalou. Yeah, she's a wonderful artist, and yeah.
So there's some use to YouTube after all.
I'm going to unpin Maria and see whether any of our authors want to say anything, because I think that was what we said next, right? We very much appreciate your patience here. I think I managed to unpin, right? Please, if anyone, I mean, it's not mandatory, obviously, but we did want to provide that opportunity if anyone wanted to say, make a short comment or anything. Oh, I see. Andreas.
Yes, it's a very, let's say, pleasant time here to see you all, and in such an occasion, I'm really moved about the launching of this wonderful volume, and I'm really grateful to the 3 editors and, of course, the publishing house that undertook this very, very interesting and demanding, I would say, enterprise. I just wanted to say thanks to Maria, and I would say this my thanks in 3 of my qualities. First, as a Greek historian, and knowing that Maria loves Greece and she also has Greek roots. Really thank you, Maria, for not giving in to nationalist readings of Greek history. You have always been very, very critical to such uses of history and politics. I would like, secondly, to thank you as a younger Balkanist. I was not formally a student of yours, but I think in many other ways I have been a student of yours. And I will say that I really thank you for enhancing the love to the Balkans without resorting to notions and emotions of pride, and also for being at the same time something very difficult, which is at the same time passionate, uncompromising, and always politically engaged, but at the same time open-minded, humble, democratic, self-reflecting. This is a very, very rare, let's say, combination in this way. So you taught us, this thing which was wonderful for me as a personality. And of course, I would like to thank you, De Profundis, for your stable and generous friendship. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks for everything.
Yes, Dragos, please.
Okay, so I'm going to talk very shortly about the mentor. Actually, we didn't have, but we would very much like to have Maria Todorova, and I'm talking both for myself and Christina. Fortunately, we had the chance first to meet Maria Todorova when we were studying during our MA studies at Central European University. At the time, it was in Budapest. And then over 20, almost 25 years ago, and then we had another major chance to work together in a project of remembering communism. At the time, Romania and Bulgaria were under research in terms of memory of communism. So it was another chance to work with the mentor we didn't have the chance to have, but actually we worked together, and we were really amazed that she actually referred to us as colleagues, although we're just students. And then for 20 years, Maria Todorova has been present in the MA master course I'm teaching at the Faculty of Political Science, University of Bucharest, which is called Political Modernities in Southeast Europe. And one of the best classes I have, which raises the most debates, is the one, of course, in which you are debating concepts like Balkanism, Orientalism, and Occidentalism. So what can I say? That Maria, thank you very much for whatever you have done for us here in Southeast Europe.
I do want to recognize that people have other commitments as well, but if anyone else, we probably have a few more minutes. If anyone else wants to jump in, because otherwise I have to put it on Maria, and we're not going to do that. Oh, Kristen and Christina Petrescu. Kristen Godzi, go ahead. She is in a station, so
I'm in a yeah, I won't speak for very long because I'm in a train station on my way to New York, but I just wanted to say thank you to the editors and the people who organized the publication, Conrad and Ulf. I was so grateful to be included. I was not a student of Maria's, but she has been an amazing inspiration to me and my work for my whole career. So, Chestito, Maria, I'm so happy that this all worked out, and I hope you have a wonderful evening and feel appropriately and absolutely necessarily celebrated for all of the amazing work that you've done as a professor, as a mentor, as a scholar, and as just a човек, decent human being. Bye.
Okay, I want to see last chance, maybe. I don't see any other hands.
Christina wants to say something.
I think I see.
Christina Petrescu.
Okay, so Philip there has written a note. Okay. He is sitting at an archive, so he cannot talk to us. Lucky Philip. But sends his congratulations. So that was Philip there.
Theodora, Christina Petrescu wanted to say something.
Oh, okay, absolutely. I didn't see a hand. Sorry about that. Is Christina connecting? Let me see.
Theodora, we see Christina.
Well, I am not seeing her. I mean, Christina, you can just unmute your microphone, and that should be enough. Let me see if I can unmute her. I'm actually not seeing Christina. Is she here?
Yeah, she's connected.
Yes, yes,
Oh, perfect. Here she is. I will.
Christina, we don't hear you.
All right, now.
Okay, can you hear me now? I'm very sorry for this technical problem. Well, just really very briefly, because so many wonderful things have been said. I'm a little bit afraid that what I will say, it's a bit pompous, but perhaps it's better to say it than to be sorry not to have said it. And it just occurred to me that in a way or another, we are all sort of Todorovians here. But the funny thing is that the way we use and interpreted what she wrote, maybe it's something that she might never imagined herself. So I just wanted to say that for my generation, and that's my reading, Imagining the Balkans, well, allows us to understand that, well, to have a Balkan identity, it's not something that comes from a bad historical heritage, but it's something that is constructed from the outside by Western countries. So it's something that we could overcome, especially by using this, I thought, very clever idea of the self, of the incomplete self. Somehow it gives you, and that's my reading, perhaps she never thought, but because it's the incomplete self, it means that you can overcome this. And well, of course, have we done it? Have we overcome this, well, a burden of being from the Balkans in the 25 years? I would say yes. I don't know what others would think, but thank you, Maria, for inspiring us once again in ways that probably you didn't envisage. Thank you for all the three lady editors, and thank you for the two sirs that were our, let's say, reviewers. Thank you very much for everything, and many happy returns of the day.
And probably, oh, is someone? I'm wondering whether this wonderful phrase, we are all Todorovians here, might be a good way to pin Maria back on the screen. We are nearing the hour. I don't want to overstep anyone's commitments. I am giving one more chance to one more person if they want to say anything. I'm not going to call on Maria, although she deserves it partially. Think fast, come on, fast.
Yeah, you should put her on the spot. I think you should put her on the spot. Come on.
All right, here is another co-conspirator. Trying to, we don't want to push you too much, but if you want to say anything, and you don't need to go about the volume, we'll talk about the volume later.
Listen.
No, it's on. It's on.
No,
You hear
it's
us.
on. Do you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I love you and I thank you. I mean, what more can I say? I mean, really, I'm really deeply, deeply moved. I love you all very much. And by the way, I will see a lot of you during this summer, now that I'm looking at you. I mean, probably 1/3 of you I will see during the summer.
Excellent.
But again, thank you. I will be actually back to you once I read it, to you personally, to all of you personally. I promise that.
Well, thank you.
Well,
This is a conversation. This is the beginning of a conversation.
Exactly. At this point, I'm just emotional. After that, I'll be quick and non-emotional when I write to you.
Anjunka, thank you also so much for making this thing happen.
Also for having her appear magically.
Yeah. Bobby, I have a problem.
So for some intrigante.
I'll tell you all why Maria is here with us today. She was called on duty to tutor this child in math.
Oh my
God.
She's tutoring this child and one of her Ukrainian friends for the past hour. And she was like, why are they not thinking fast enough? So thank you so much for organizing all this. It's so wonderful to see everybody. Thank you so much for my mom, Maria. It's just wonderful, wonderful to see
She
everyone.
produced you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I know I saw Alec here too at some point. I don't know whether he's here, so I'm glad he was able to connect with us. Yeah, he's here.
Yes.
Let's make it a family affair just for 1 second. We cannot hear you, Alec.
Yeah, I think his microphone is off. It doesn't work. I think it's kaput. But we have my dear uncle.
Yes, and I know that Verban was here as well. Is
And
he
we
here?
loved, loved his face the whole time. I was watching him the whole time.
Varban, give us your wisdom.
Well, may I say something?
Yes, please.
Well, the problem is that I'm the brother. So you mentioned 20 years, 25 years of acknowledging my sister, and I'm 65 years.
Oh.
But I'm thinking that I felt more Balkan when reading her books. I'm Balkan in origin, but nevertheless, I feel more Balkan. And this is my very, very grateful to my sister that well, she wrote such things. Okay.
Okay.
I think I made my microphone work. Do you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I want to say thank you for making this happen. This group is amazing to see. I live vicariously just to I've been, you know, most of you I know personally. I remember times with Maria. It's so great that you did this and that we have this moment together. That's going to be memories here, and I very much appreciate it. So thank you to all of you.
So I think it's time for wine, no?
Yes.
Okay, make
Cheers.
sure you treat her well tonight. I will unpin you guys for a second. And let's all go grab us a glass of wine and continue the celebration. Maria,
Thank you.
we'll let you go
Bye-bye.
now.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.